Leon Olguin here, or Leon if you prefer. Welcome to At Home with Music, and welcome to From Ears to Fingers Part 2, or Ears to Fingers 102, or whatever you want to call it. This is a continuation now of the From Ears to Fingers series, where you learn about how to play by ear. I hope by this time you've gone through From Ears to Fingers Part 1, and you've also gone through the music basics before that, and you now have a firm foundation upon which to build. And so what we're going to be talking about today is a very valuable tool that I'm just going to introduce you to today, because you'll find that there's a lot of uses for this, and it's called the Circle of Fifths. Maybe you've heard of it. But anyway, this tool is not only going to help you learn key signatures easily, you'll also be reminded of intervals and of chords and how they relate to each other. And anyway, you're just going to see that this is an amazing tool to use, not only for composition, but for playing by ear. And anyway, let's introduce it to you now. So what we've got here, first of all, we're starting with a circle. Now, I had to draw this circle freehand, so it may not be completely perfect. Not bad, though. It's not a bad circle. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to start with C, the note C, and we're going to put C at the top. And then we'll make a little mark here so that I know where to be when I get to the bottom. Now, C is our starting point, just as it was when we learned the notes on the keyboard and when we learned key signatures and so on. And what we're going to do is we're going to go we're going to go clockwise, and it's going to be like a clock. And it's interesting to note that just as the face of an old-fashioned clock has 12 numbers, the face of the Circle of Fifths has 12 notes. But we're not going to put them in order. We're not going to go C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and so on. We're going to go up a fifth to find the next note that's going to go on the circle. So starting from C, one way you can find the next note is to play 7 half steps from C. So you'd go C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, number 7. So G is our next note. So we're going to put G right there. So that would correspond to like the number 1 on a clock, but we don't want to line up the numbers on a clock with the notes. Let's just concentrate on the notes. Going from C to G, that's a fifth, perfect fifth up. And so from G, we go up another perfect fifth. And I'm going to demonstrate this on the keyboard in the second half of this video very quickly so you can see how it looks on the keyboard. So we go from G up a perfect fifth. The next note would be D. Now I think you can see the pattern that's developing here. We're going to go from D up a perfect fifth, and that's going to take us to, see, I got to make sure I get my picture lined up here. Yep, going to take us to A. A goes right here, about halfway down the circle. Okay, and so we're going to stick 2 more notes in there before we get to the bottom. So going up a fifth from A is going to take us to, let's see, A, B, C sharp, it's going to be an E. There you go. This will be even easier to figure out when we take it to the keyboard. And so going up a fifth from E is going to take us to B. B goes right there. And then up a fifth from B is F sharp. Now, when we reach F sharp, we are actually at a note that is the farthest away from C as we can possibly go. So we have now filled in half the circle. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of our 12 notes. So we've got just a few more to go here to fill it in. Let's see, 7 plus 5, yeah. Well, what we're going to do now, we could actually keep going this way and continue to fill out the thing. But what we're going to do now is start at C, and we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to go counterclockwise, and we're going to go down a fifth from C each time. So if we go down a fifth from C, we'd have to count down 7 half steps, and you'll find that we wind up on F. Okay? Then we go down another fifth, and we wind up, let's see, I want to make sure I get this right. we wind up on B flat. My problem is spatial relationships. I got to make sure I put the notes in the right place. I think I stuck that B flat a little too high. Oh well, you get the idea. Going down from B flat, a fifth, we go to E flat. And let's see, we got to get two more notes in there, I guess. Let's see, I'm going to take a look at my chart again. Computer keeps shutting off. Yep, two more. So going down from E flat, a perfect fifth, will bring you to A flat. And then going down from A flat, a perfect fifth, that will bring you to D flat. Now, here's an interesting thing. If you go down from D flat, a perfect fifth, you wind up here. And that becomes G flat. And so you'll notice that this is one of those black keys that has two names. Well, actually, all the black keys have two names. So F sharp and G flat are the same thing. So there you go. That's the circle of fifths. And now what we're going to do with this is first we're going to deal with it as these individual notes. Then we're going to deal with it as chords. So this would be the C major, G major, D major, A major, E major, and so on. And then after that, we're going to deal with key signatures. And so you'll find that C, the C major key signature, if you remember from just looking at the notes, when we first learned to read the notes on the treble clef, C major had no sharps, no flats, and then G major had a certain number of sharps, and then we end up with more and more sharps. We go this way, we end up with more and more flats. But rather than try to get into all of that right now, we're going to save that for a future video. I just wanted to introduce you to this concept of arranging all 12 notes in the chromatic scale, and we call this the circle of fifths. Okay, we're going to reconstruct the circle of fifths, and I'm going to show you how to do it here on the keyboard. That helps you visualize it. So, we're going to start on C. You remember we put C at the top of the circle, and then we started to go clockwise, and so we went up a fifth to the next note. So if you count all the half steps, you'll have 7 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That puts us on G. So there's the next note on the circle of fifths. Count up another 7 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're on D. Another 7 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're on A. And then I think you can see how the pattern goes from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then finally, I'll start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. So we're now F sharp. And you remember I said that F sharp is as far away from C as you can get. Because if you go any farther, we're really kind of closing back in on a C. So thanks for watching, and in the next video we're going to go farther into the circle of fifths and what we can do with it. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for that. I encourage you to like, subscribe, and tell other homeschool families about what I'm teaching here, because this is very useful stuff as you want to learn the basics of music. So we'll see you in the next one.